Hi guys, this is Maker of Beauty, and I just wanted to share with you what's coming up next in my Etsy shop, and I also wanted to show you what to do with that stuff. So I'm offering a package deal, which is you get 5 files of what I call one-piece centers. This is where you don't need the fringes. You just take the center by itself and put that in your flower. So you have 5 of them, and this is what they look like. I'm putting it on a black paper so you can see it a little bit better. I'm probably gonna try to bring it up a little bit closer to the camera so you can have better visibility. And they just went flying off my piece of paper. But in any case, so if you purchase my package deal, then you'll have 5 of those. And the way you would use it is that let me grab a ready-made flower. So here's my flower, and you would just put it right there. You don't really need to do anything with it, you just glue it on. If you want to give it a little bit of a lift, you could just use your finger to lift this up if you want it to come up a little bit more and be like a little bit more pointy. So, like that's one of the ways you could do it. You could take a little flower and maybe position it that way. That would also look very, very pretty. Leaving it just by itself would be just as good. I mean, the sky is the limit. Whatever works for you, would be great. So that's one offering that is part of the package deal. The other one is the package is going to have 3 different French centers. I have a couple of them that's already made. So, and I have it cut in different sizes, right? Where the French itself is going to be from super thin to like medium to slightly large. And then I'm going to show you what different things you could be doing with your French centers, but that would basically just go right in here, and there's your very pretty flower right there. And then on the top of that, it will have 5 different, what I call like filler petals, but they often used for making, and I'm sorry if I'm not going to pronounce it right, it's called hydrangea balls, I think. I just call them paper flower ball. So it's 5 different shapes, and I'm just trying to pull in all of the ones that I have. Okay, so these are the same shape, so we're not gonna put this one out. Here's the other. There is this shape that I have. All of them are pretty much the same, right? It's just that the similarity is that all of them have 4 petals on each side, and the difference is what the petal looks like. And the package will have total 5 of that as well. So I'm just showing 2 of this, but there will be additional 3 different ones, and I'm going to show you what it is that I do with them. And without wasting any time, let me show you how I create my flower balls. And they could be kept as a own ball, or many times I will cut my styrofoam ball and I'll treat it actually as a center. If you had a chance to see pictures of a beautiful wedding backdrop that I've posted on my Facebook page and on several different places, you will actually see that a couple of my centers look exactly like this using the fillers petals. And once I finish it up, and this is the wrong size for this flower, but just want you for you to have some visual, it would look basically a very fluffy center. And there are several different ways that you can do it. The easiest way that I found is to use this type of I don't even know what they call, but I guess needle, right, with the cute pearl on top. And for the big ones, you know, you should probably use the ones with the longer needles. I think this might be a little bit too, actually no, for this size this is pretty good. But if you were to make, you know, like a really big ball, then you definitely need something longer so that it adheres much better. And you know, you always want to use 2 of them. The reason 2 is because you need it to cover up the weight of the styrofoam, and basically you just layered it on the top of each other, right? And if you want to, you can glue it, you know, but you don't have to if you're using this needles. But what you do want is that you want to raise up your flower just a little bit, and you can do it in several different ways. Like you can take a burl and just roll it in the middle, and that's going to raise your petal, the top one, a little bit. Or you can take your, even this is going to do just fine, right? And just give it a little bit of a curl so it's not staying so flat. The bottom one does not really need to be curled. As a matter of fact, you probably want it to be flat, so it covers up your styrofoam. And basically you just position it right next to, right over each other. And I typically go in a row, and I try to put them kind of like slightly overlapping, and then you just put it right there in the middle, and there it is. And you keep on going with that until you have all of them set up. And I think I want to actually curl with something different. I'm gonna curl it with this, just so that it's like it's rising up and it's giving a little bit more of fluff to it. So I'm going to quickly finish up here. Just gonna put that again in the center. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know, at the end of it, it always looks great. And then if you need to, right, like if you want to reposition the petals, then you just maybe lift this one up and put that on the bottom. What you do want is to make sure that the flat one's overlapping, so it's covering it up the styrofoam. I don't advise gluing the bottom one to the styrofoam, because the styrofoam will melt under the hot glue. And in all the times that I have used this needles, I never needed to apply glue on the styrofoam itself. The only thing that I needed to do it, you know, to put the glue on the bottom of the styrofoam. Okay, so I curled up a whole bunch of my filler petals, and I actually found one other shape that is going to be part of the package. It's this one. It's looks like a rose petal. And you know, it still would work the same way, that you want to curl up the top one. You don't have to curl up the bottom if you don't want to, and then you just layer it over the other. And you either, probably best if you use the needle to attach it to the styrofoam, or if you need to, you know, you glue it. And one other great tool that I just absolutely love, even using small flowers, is this mat that comes with 3 tools for working with the petals. I don't quite even know what it's called, and I think it was the catching something. She's one of the artists, and she has quite a bit of stuff online. You know, I saw her use it, and it's great. It was you know, this mat is kind of like a self-healing, and it gives you the padding to push into the paper without breaking it, and then you just roll it like this, and it nicely lifts the petal up for you. So, okay, I think I have enough, so I'm gonna quickly finish up here. So I'm just gonna put it over right there. Here's my pen. And the way I typically approach it is I basically go from one end to the other, then I'll put it up the middle on this one, and then I'll stick the rest of them as it needs to. So, you know, I try to put the bottom under to cover up my styrofoam, and there it is. I definitely need one more. And like, one of the fun ways of doing this would be where you put the fringe under it, and that sits on the top of the fridge. That would look really good with a big flower. It gets a little bit busy, I think, with a smaller flower, but the big one could definitely pull it off. And then looks like I'll need and by the way, if you guys have watched my tutorials before, you're probably noticing the change, and the change is that I don't have my brown color anymore. I've had people commented telling me that it could be a little bit difficult to see what it is that I'm doing because my table cover is so dark, and so I've listened to that input and I've changed it up. But I've also been learning how to take better and better pictures, but you know, I'm struggling big time of how everything just looks so pretty. And I do think that, you know, I should have good pictures of my end products. Let me pause for a second, I'll come back to it. So just want to show you. So here's my, you know, basically across, right? And then I'll just fill it up with this 4 parts. So any case, you know, I definitely hear people on having better pictures, right? But I also feel like I'm so hesitant to create YouTube videos that just make everything look so easy, because, you know, a lot of that stuff is not easy. And I was actually on the Facebook today reading one of the comments, and the poster said that she was watching videos and everything looks just like so fast and so easy, and it feels almost there is no room for mistake for you if you were to try to recreate it. And it's so very true, because a lot of these videos don't show the reality of what it takes to make a project. For example, I did this bar mitzvah project, and I did centerpieces that involved having spray painted wine bottles, and I watched countless videos on how to remove labels from the wine bottles, and some of them, you know, people swore by, and you watch the videos and it works so well. Well, I've tried every single one of those methods. I mean, I've tried the oils, I've tried W40, I've tried oh my gosh, what haven't I tried? And after all of it, what I've arrived at, the best thing was to soak it in a very strong solution for over 24 hours, sometimes over 48 hours, and then you rub it with a metal sponge. And there was nothing glamorous about it, there was nothing clean, it was very much dirty work. And I mean, granted, I guess in retrospect, you know, I didn't realize I could have ordered clean bottles from Amazon. But what I want to say is that, with an exception of like maybe one video, and I must have watched like, you know, 15 of them, all of them made it look like it was like a, you know, easy peasy Japanesey, and it's not. It's sort of the same thing like when I see people spraying, you know, like stuff indoors, and it just, everything again looks so perfect, like nothing is getting sprayed. Well, have you ever tried to spray something with a rust or loom? That spray is so powerful, like it literally flies everywhere. Anyways, you guys, you know, see it, how nicely it's coming along, and it's fluffy, it's very pretty, it's different. And most important thing, guys, I should have told you, is that I get my filler petals from all that extra space. All of us will end up having it if you are using your Cricut to cut all of your flowers, which is what I do. Even when it's a large project, I will still cut everything with a Cricut because I absolutely suck at cutting with scissors. None of my lines are ever straight. It just bothers me. And a lot of petals that I make, right, like they're very fluffy. I mean, they get a lot of circles and such. I just don't see how I'd be able to do a good job with scissors. And I've tried, and I have good scissors. But in any case, you know, it's if you try to spray something with a rust or loom, that stuff is powerful. I mean, the spray is so strong. And you guys can see what I'm doing here, right? I'm just lifting the top one to tuck the bottom underneath of it so that it covers my styrofoam in there. Okay, so where's my ball? It's right here, and I'm almost done. And hopefully I have enough white base to finish up. So as I was saying, right, I rarely cut this out of like a full sheet of paper. Normally is that I will cut this out from the extra space that you end up having on your mat in between the petals. Okay, so since I don't have any more white, I'm actually going to use this white because it's on the bottom. And I do try to stick to the same size for the petal, although I've also ran into situations where, you know, the petals were different size, and because they end up being so fluffy, the different sizes get covered up, right? So it's not that much of a concern to me. And the way I store it, I'll show it to you in a minute. Once I put this one in here, and I'm gonna just grab one more. Oops, I didn't need to roll this one, but doesn't matter. Okay, and so there you have your what could have been otherwise wasted paper. You know, didn't waste anything, and it's a very pretty center. This colors don't match. The size is also slightly wrong, but that gives you a very good visual of what it would look like. And the way I store it, right, as I cut them, I put them in a little plastic bags. And like I said, right, like the most important thing is just try to remember, you know, the size. And typically I do it about like 1.25 to maybe like 1.5. It's, you know, this one was definitely smaller than that. I think that one was just 1 inch or maybe 1 inch and 10. And see, I have like a whole bunch of the cutouts, and that helps me to keep them organized. And I just have a whole box of them so that you know, if there is